Good evening, wonderful viewers of Fine TV. We welcome you to another edition of Edusa's Candidates Policy Debate 2023. We apologize for the late start of the program. We know people are actually following it as usual, and then because of one or two things, the program could not start on time. Now, we welcome you today to yet another fascinating edition where we'll actually welcome the education and research aspirants, those who are vying for this position, to make sure our education and research ministry is actually at par with the best research ministries in the university, if not the best. Now, for that being the case, today we have you very prominent individuals who are very good at the different areas that they are focused on, and then they also have the expertise and also the willingness to make sure Edusa gets the best education and research ministry. So we want to hear from them, and also we want to know their policies, what they have in store for us, what they want to give us when they come into power, when they come to the mantle of leadership, especially in that particular portfolio of the education research. As important as it is why they want to come and then tell you whatever policy they have in them, and also in their chambers, to tell us this is what they have and this is what they want to do come November 15th, when students of School of Education go on poll to choose the best among them. Now, today I have, Alassane Jai, who is fondly called Malcolm X Jr. He is vying for the position of Education Research Minister under the placard of Team SSC, which is Student Service Council. And I have another great gentleman who is Mr. Amadou Khan, who is also vying for the same position, which is Education and Research Minister, under the placard of Team Renaissance. Now, they are here today, as usual, as the other candidates have already done, to tell us tangible policies that they have in store for us. So we will hear from them. We'll start with the introduction, and from there move on to the main issue, main reason why we should vote for them. We'll start with Alassane Jai. Mr. Jai, tell us brief introduction of yourself. From there, we move on to the reason why you are here.
Yes, good evening, viewers out there. Thank you, Fine TV, for giving us this opportunity. Also sending a shout out to all Edusans out there. I am very much convinced that they are following the program. Yes, this is Alassane Jai, commonly called Malcolm X Jr. As my pen name rather. I am a passionate writer, an avid researcher, and a youth activist. Very, very dynamic in what I do. I am a student at the University of the Gambia, under the School of Education. I am an author, and I have my book approved by the Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education to be used in school. Among other things, I am a coach, mentor, a teacher, motivational speaker, and so on and so forth, all in relevant or in relation to the ministry I'm vying for. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So that is brief. That is Mr. Alassane Jai, who will also talk us through his policies, why we should actually vote for him in that particular aspect of education and research. Now we move on to Mr. Amadou Khan. Mr. Khan, as Alassane did, we want to hear from you. That is brief introduction of yourself. From there, we move on to the topic proper.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, Fine TV, and then good evening, IPRO. Thank you very much for this platform. And then good evening to all the Edusans who are following this program. As stated, I am Amadou Khan, an aspiring candidate for the position of Education and Research, a third-year student majoring in English language and minor in public admin at the University of the Gambia School of Education. Originally, I'm from a village called Kuntaya in the northern part of the country. That's where I did my primary and secondary school. Moved to Banjul, Muslim senior secondary school. And then, after completing my senior secondary school, I moved to the Gambia College in 2011, where I did my PTC finished in 2014. Then come back to the college again, 2015, did my HTC, and then here we are at the University of the Gambia. I started 2021, January 2021, major in English language and then minor in public admin. So that's Amadou Khan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Khan. That is all about their introduction. And as you rightly see, these are all people who are very much experienced in the different areas, as I alluded before. So we now move on to the reasons. Mr. Njai, we want to know, we the students of education, School of Education, we want to know the reasons why we should actually vote you in as our Education Research Minister.
Thank you so very much for that beautiful question. And I think is if not the best, but this is the most vital question we deserve to be asked. And it's the most vital question we deserve to answer, because this is what will show definitely what the strength we have, what the proof we have, what the experience we have, what the knowledge we have. And then how are we passionate about what we are desiring for. So it's beautiful. I don't just vie for this position because I am a member of the Student Association of the University of the Gambia, that's Edusa. No, this is something that I am passionate about. I have a dream in this area. Now, let me tell you, I have the dedication to do the work. I have the responsibility to do the work. I have the education to do the work. I have the attitude to do the work. I have the motivation to do the work. And above all, I have the success to do the work. Because this is what I do. Before I come to the University of the Gambia, this is what I do. When I come to the University of the Gambia, in general, the functions, the mandates, the duties, the rights and responsibilities of the Education Ministry is what I do well before I arrived at the University of the Gambia. And what is this? That is writing, research, academic, speaking, and leadership. This is what I have found in myself from day one. And now, let's say education and research. I can stand firmly and say, throughout my academic career, I have been very outstanding. I have won awards. Junior schools, senior schools, people who know, people that I attend school with, they know. I finished senior school, come to the college, go to the teaching service. The schools I served, I know many people could be listening. The schools I have served, I have man leadership positions, and I have excelled them through those particular fields. And not only that, I have been dynamic in my roles. That's my academic. There are a lot more to mention. Now let's see my research or writing skills. I am no stranger to the literary scene, the literary atmosphere in the Gambia. Right now, name me who is more a prolific writer, imagining Gambian writer, young writer, prolific than me. Just name, give me one if there is any you know. That's what the ministry asks. Research. And I would mention this. I have worked closely with NCAC, National Center for Arts and Culture. And if I mention this, people who know will know. People who know how proactive Hazum Sise is would know I am under his mentorship. He has introduced me to a series of researches and to a series of policy validations. This has equipped me beyond measurable doubt that I should this position, and this is a continuation of what I do. I have worked with young stars movie production in a research project that I lead, and submitted the record to Fulton Film Company in the USA. If you people who follow the movie industry, they know Young Stars Movie Production. If they ask ML will tell you, I conducted the research with Njai. That is aside. I have established a literary club in the Gambia. I am the founder and the president of the literary club in the Gambia. all the mandated responsibilities that the ministry should carry out as enshrined in the constitutions. I have done them time and again and again and again and again. And as you are speaking, I'm doing them. I have held research projects and participated in research projects. I have represented my clubs and other people in dialogues and consultations. I have organized series of online and offline debates, literally debates. I did mention that. And if preacher is here, he can be a testimony of this. I have organized literally competitions, academic competitions, that university students participated. Preacher was the chief adjudicator of one of my events. As one makes one bed, one must lie on it, was the theme of the competition. During the corona time, when people were busy, education was disturbed, I took the responsibility to organize series of online training for youth. And then I don't stop on that. I organized competitions too, and then provide them awards. I organized an awards winning ceremony, and then this was held at NCAC conference room in Banjul. It was featured on GRTS. Alajimbai was the journalist who covered the program. These are, I cannot continue to say all I have done pertinent to the duties, rights, and responsibilities mandated by the Constitution to an education research minister. If I have to continue talking until tomorrow, I will be here, be telling you about my academic experiences, my research experience, and my writing experiences, of which I am no stranger to any bookworm or literally addict in the Gambia. There is no week, you people, even Edusans can attest, there is no week that I have not written something valuable, pertinent, and relevant to the society. Most in cases, boiling points, things at the peak that need to be addressed, that need to create awareness, is what I do. So, the ball is in the court of Edusans. I can assure them a ministry of near perfection, because we believe that perfection is divine. Near perfection, if Edusans can hear me. Not taking too long. But I have also participated in academic competitions. I have participated in literary competitions. I have participated in research competitions.
Thank you.
So, time is not allowing us, but I can still say one thing after the other, one thing after the other, time and again until tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I believe that is a detailed explanation of the experiences that Mr. Njai has gotten from the different fields he has already manned. So we move on to Mr. Amadou Khan. Mr. Khan, just as we said before the introduction, that is to say the main reason, why the students of Education Students Association or the School of Education, the reason why they should actually vote for you as the Education and Research Minister come November 15. What are the reasons?
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Sane. And I am very pleased about that. Because if we stand here today, it's to sell ourselves to the electorates. Why should they vote for us? What do we have for them? What are we going to do for them? So, one of the reasons why the students should vote for me is, number one, I have the students' interest at heart. That's number one. So, I have the policies that solve students' problem. Because this Education and Research Ministry deals directly with the interests of the students, ranging from academic matters, researches, and so on. So, among my policies, I have almost 6 policies. I will give you my policies, and then the students can judge whether these policies are relevant for them to vote for me or not. And number one of those policies is, we have in Edusa, or Education Students Association, or the School of Education, we have this culture of tutorial. When exams are approaching, we organize tutorial. And then these tutorials always help students so that they will find it easy during their exams. So there has been an existing tutorial cycle, but then my policy is we are going to rebrand that tutorial cycle. How are we going to rebrand that tutorial cycle? One, we are going to form a committee. That committee will be responsible for the tutorial cycle. That committee will have a chairperson and then a vice chairperson and then other committee members. So those committee members and then the chairperson will spot out potential tutors from all the educational courses and other relevant courses that education students are doing. We have education students, doing all the GR courses. Every education student, we must do general courses like 101 English, 101 French, and other stuff. So we will conduct tutorial in all those courses. And then the other thing is, in that tutorial also, we are not going to leave behind the French and then the religious majors. Because we know that the French majors, sometimes their background in English language is not good. So at times, when we organize tutorials at the level of the English or other majors, it is going to affect them. So we are going to organize a special tutorial cycle for them, where we will come down to their level, so that at least they will also benefit from those tutorial cycles. We also have the physically challenged people. So all those people will be incorporated in this tutorial cycle. So the other point is the nationwide tour. We have a culture again of the nationwide tour. Edusans always go to the nationwide tour yearly to meet schools, students, and then we always, have a topic that we discuss. So this time we are going to reorganize. We are going to rebrand the nationwide tour in collaboration with the Office of the Vice President, because most of the roles of the Education and Research Ministry is in line with that of the Office of the Vice President. So this nationwide tour, how are we going to rebrand it? We will introduce a research team, and then we will have a research topic. We will have a topic that will be very, very relevant in terms of the university students, and then also the students out there, because education and research, entails a lot. And then the university students, we have a task to go out there, impact the life of the students, because after finishing our course at the university, we go back to those schools and then teach those students. So we need to know their problems and their challenges. So that research team will go with the nationwide tour with a research topic that will be funded by our partners. We have MOPSI, we have MRC Horan, we have MOHAS, and other stuff. So the next policy is the public speaking and debate competition. So as an education and research minister, you are entitled to organize extracurricular activities such as debates, lectures, symposia, and other stuff. So the Education and Research Ministry, under my leadership, will make sure we organize these debates, lectures, seminars, and other stuff. How are we going to organize them? We are going to make collaboration. Like for a lot of debate, we have the UTG Debate Association. They are responsible for organizing every debate in the University of the Gambia. So we are going to collaborate with them and then organize debate competition within Edusans. So through that debate competition, we can spot out very good debaters to go and represent the School of Education in the VC Debate Championship. So other than that, we also have the students' development, that is capacity building. Education students, we need to build their capacity. How are we going to build their capacity? We are going to work with partners like the UTG, University of the Gambia Research Directorate. We are going to invite them because there is already a collaboration between the Education and Research Ministry of the Executive Council and then that of the Research Directorate of the University of the Gambia. So we are going to work with those that sector so that we can build the capacity of Edusans. How are we going to build their capacity? We'll engage on research proposal development. We'll engage on referencing. We'll engage on citation and other stuff. Because as university students, one of the key things that you should know about is how to reference your work. Because you are always given assignments and then you are tasked to reference your work. So if you don't reference your work properly, you have a problem. So how are we going to solve that? Though we did referencing and then other stuff in our 102 courses, and those doing education, we education students, sometimes we do it in academic writing, but at times it is not enough. we still have students who cannot reference their work properly. How are we going to do that? We will engage the research director, University of the Gambia, to expose university students, School of Education, on these areas. So the final point deals with the clearance, registration, and grade issues. These are issues that are very, very relevant. The Education and Research Ministry cannot go without these areas. So we always have problems on this area of clearance, more especially the students on the scholarship from MRC Holland and then Mohas. How are we going to solve their problem? We'll establish a committee. There is already a committee I learned from 13 Executive Council. But then this committee, we are going to make it more vibrant. We are going to organize that committee to the extent that all these clearance issues will be sorted out. How are we going to do that? We will work with the Secretariat, the Secretary's office, Secretary General's office. We have a database of the entire students who are on the scholarship. We will work with them because in most cases, MRC Holland requires you to submit your transcript. So how are we going to do that? No need for students now to go to MRC Holland and submit their own transcript. That committee will be responsible for collecting all the transcripts of the students and then send it to MRC Holland. So that committee will be following up of all the students who are under that scholarship. So whether they are cleared or not. So if you are not cleared, you will channel your problem to that committee and then they will solve your problem. Instead of you going there up and down, trying to solve your own problem. So the registration issue, when it comes to registration, we are going to work with the faculty office. Because in every semester, sometimes educational courses that are mounted are not enough for the education students. How are we going to solve this problem? It's an issue. So this problem, we'll work with the faculty office, try and get them the required number. We'll get a data. We'll create a Google form whereby every student, you will indicate the courses that you wish to register. So we'll get this data before the registration begins, and then we'll take that information to the faculty office and then put it to them. These are the courses that the students are preparing to register for. So you'll see that they will know the number that they are going to allocate for each course. So when it comes to grades, because we always have problem of missing grades and other stuff, this area also is an area that the Office of the Vice President works on with the Education and Research Ministry. So we are going to work with the Office of the Vice President to sort out all grade-related issues in collaboration with the UTGSU Vice Presidency. So, but before we reach there, the first thing that we are going to do is we have the Education and Research Ministry. We have sort of committees. So there will be a specific committee also related that will be taking problems of grades. So that committee will take in any complaint of grades and other stuff. So that committee will channel it, go around to lecturers that are being mentioned or that have not inputted students' grades to solve that problem. So if that is not possible, then it is going to the faculty office. If the faculty office cannot solve it, then it moves to the University of the Gambia Student Union. So those are some of the points that I have, and then later we can discuss.
Thank you. So the students are listening, and then we'll put all of you to task and then tell you, account you for whatever is actually promised during this particular fine moment, if I can say fine moment, but then more or less it's, a moment which is very much tormenting to politicians because they hardly have rest in canvassing for votes. So, Mr. Njai, thank you very much, Mr. Khan, for those policies. The policies have already been buttressed on, and then we will now want to hear from Mr. Njai, that is Malcolm, to also tell us what are the policies he already put in line for us. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for this beautiful question. And then I would proudly say, one man down and none to go. Please, Mr. IPRO, the host of the show, please, could you remind the stray man that he has not answered your question? Why do you think Edusa should vote for you, not your policies that you are asked? Why do you think? Edusans should vote for you, then why do you go to talk about your policies? Tell Edusans your experience. Tell Edusans the steps you have taken. Tell Edusans what you have done. Tell Edusans to convince them that you got the background knowledge of what you want to do. So you are too quick to go to your policies. And I think you are even dragging the IPRO faster than he assumed, because he has already given me the question now to answer that what my policies are. So please, could you take the opportunity to tell him that he has not answered your questions and then he has not spoken to the Edusans. Please, Mr. Khan, you have not answered the question. IPRO, you understand, he has to tell Edusans why should they vote for him, not what his policies are. I think that was a question for another time. Certainly certain. And convincingly convinced in conviction, passions, and affection. Edusans know what experiences can do in the post we are vying for. So he has jumbled up the arrangement of the debate. Definitely. And I know you are not prepared, and you are even not prepared to ask this question about policies right now.
Let's move on.
Let's move on. Yeah. The TV host said, let's move on. Viewers, you can understand what he means when he said, let's move on. He don't have to talk. So, Mr. Khan, please, it is important you tell them what experience you have, if they are, and of course, tangible. Thank you. If you ask me about my policies, I will tell you in plain. Last year and this year, the only Edusa, the only aspirant who have a solution mechanism policy was me, and is me until today. And that was meet the Edusa students policy. He who feels it knows it. We are aware of that. So, meet the Edusa students policy will bring the opportunity for Edusans, not only Edusans, but also relevant authorities, directly or indirectly responsible of the affairs of the Education Student Association of the University of the Gambia, the opportunity to sit, dialogue, bring in solutions to problems. Not only solutions to problems, but lasting solutions that does not repeat themselves again. That is my main policy. Bring the stakeholders, bring those affected directly. Let them table the thing. Dialogue and consultation is the solution to every problem. That is my main priority. And this is, you see the interesting part of it. Even the stakeholders that we are necessarily attached to, responsible directly or indirectly with our affairs, have one way or the other connection with me. So that is already a goal achieved. Now let's get to student engagement, student empowerment. We have skills. We have skills. We have people who are able and people who are differently able. We have people who are challenged, but these are not marginalized. Okay? I have a book in my house that is stuck in neutral. This was a very young gentleman who is physically disabled, but mentally able. He could see, read, know, realize, recognize everything what is happening in their house. But his parents were just taking him for a liability. They never knew. So everybody, regardless of the school you belong to, regardless of your health or mental status, as long as you are a bona fide student of the School of Education, will come on board. We ensure that your potential is harnessed. We ensure that you are empowered. And not only that, we ensure that you are recognized, you are rewarded, you are recommended with documents that can speak to you tomorrow. We ensure that you are attached. I don't want to mention vividly what I have in store, But you have to make sure that you gain the necessary experiences, the potentials God has embedded in you, be it on research, be it on academic, be it on attachment, be it on any field. Okay, moving far forward, research is my second name. And what I would ensure? I would ensure that research programs, research projects, problems and solutions are put in place. We understand that the University of the Gambia has little or no engagement in research involving students. I did attend one training, a Aflatun training. It was a survey research sort of, but that was not in pertinent to the benefits of the University of the Gambia. One can vividly say. So I have never had, if there is any, I don't know, research program that has been conducted here. I don't know. And then every university is part of building their strength, recognition, and intellectual level to produce research materials. I can carry the boat and I can sell them offshore successfully. So this is what I do, and that's what I want to continue doing. Coming again, tutorials is something I experienced long time ago. From school, back in junior school, senior school, and last semester I taught English 102 myself, and then it is mandated that you organize tutorials and at the same time participate in those tutorials. I cannot mention the direct and indirect tutorials I have conducted for university students well before I joined the University of the Gambia. I have interacted with university students well before I joined them. And all happens because of my literary dexterity, literary knowledge, and intellectual experience when it comes to the field of writing, speaking, and related matters. Pertinent to the Ministry of Education functions as mandated, as enshrined, as captured in the Edusa's constitution. I have tangible policies that I can continue executing because I have been doing this long time ago. Okay, so there is a lot on store, but I think I have to reserve myself on this point, and then I'm saying, Edusans, please prepare for the convention day. Listen to what we have for you. Make your informed decisions. Make your informed choices. And don't be influenced by whom you know or where he belongs to or who he goes with. Be influenced, be motivated, be inspired by what the candidates have in store and in stuff. I think I can back up here and then we continue for another question.
Thank you. And that convention day is on the 14th November 2023, which is, if I am not wrong, that is next Tuesday. You should all come and then see what they have in store. This is just a tip of the iceberg. They'll have a lot to tell you. And then I will learn a lot today, because when you bring teachers and then intellectuals in such platforms, you have to be ready to learn a lot. My pen is here, my book is here, my script, whatever I hear. So that is it. We move on. Mr. Khan, the baton is yours. Tell us, what are some of those things you mentioned as your policy, especially in the case of clearing, making sure that the students are cleared earlier, so that it will not be a burden to them, and also the missing grades. These are challenges that we are still facing. So how do you intend to solve this? And then if you have any rebuttal.
I'm coming to that. Thank you very much, IPRO. Just to remind Malcolm or Al-Hassan that when you say, why should students vote for you, doesn't necessarily mean that you only have to bring about your experiences and so on. Because you have policies. Mentioning those policies, the policies that would warrant those students to vote for you, is a point. So there is no need for me to go back, because the students already knows what I have done, the experience that I have gathered since I came to the university. sometimes some of those experiences that you may be bragging about, I did this, I did that, I did that, may not in fact be relevant to the position that you are vying for or to the university students. So here, what we need is, who is that individual who is ready to serve the students at their best, at his best interest. That is the most important thing. And then I have been doing it since my day one at the University of the Gambia. Since I came in my first semester. Tutorial, there is no semester that I have not put out a course. It may not be every course, but there is no semester that I have not put out a course. So just to say I have put out 101, last semester, that's nothing. We have been tutoring since 2021. So, and then, when it comes to students' affairs, most of the students knows. If you see, most of the students, in fact, knows me is the service that I give them. Not because of being the former EC chairperson and all that stuff, but because of the service that I render to students, the leadership roles that I take in every semester. So, Al-Hassan tackled that clearance issue, as I stated earlier, because it is one of the most pertinent issue, most prevalent issue at the University of the Gambia when it comes to clearance. Sometimes students are not cleared on time, and then this leads them not to register the courses that they want to register. You are a witness, you know that very well. You may in fact be a victim. So, but then, as I said earlier, we are going to organize a committee, we are going to form a committee. That committee will be responsible for that. How is that committee going to be responsible for that? I said it. We have, in the University of the Gambia School of Education, we have 3 institutions that mostly sponsor students. We have the MOHAS, that is higher education. We have MOPSI, basic education. We have MRC Holland. So these are the main institutions. So for that of MOHAS, in most cases, there are no problems when it comes to clearance. But if you go to MRC Holland, now, it is always a challenge. You will see people will be in the 3rd week of their lecture, and some of the MRC Holland students are not being cleared because their transcripts have not been submitted on time, or because they have a low GPA. How are we going to solve that? That committee will be responsible for that. They will take up the challenge to solve student problems in terms of clearance. So we also have students that pay for themselves. So if you don't pay your 60%, 40%, you are not registered. How are we going to help those students? We cannot give them money, but then we can create an avenue for them. We can create a partnership, the Education and Research Ministry with the Office of the Secretary. We can make a collaboration like GTU. We can go to GTU, create that collaboration with GTU. Let them give them installment. Let them pay for them 90% of their 40%. And then the student, you pay that remaining 10%. After every month, you can repay the GTU. We are going to create that collaboration. Already there is one existing collaboration that has been instituted by the Office of the Secretary General. And then you must be aware of it. So those are among the things that we are going to do when it comes to clearance. So the other point, the missing grade, we will create a form, a Google form sort of, with the Office of the IPRO, because they are responsible for those issues. We'll create a Google form, a complaint form sort of, whereby every student who has a problem on grades will file in your name. The lecturer that you have problem with, that is a grade issue, the semester, and then the course. So then the Education and Research Ministry, with the Office of the Vice President, will take up the responsibility from there. So now you, the student, will not be the one to be following the lecturer or going from office to office for your grades to be entered or your missing grade to be entered. So that is what we are going to do. I individually, when it comes to individual things that we have done since I started at the University of the Gambia, I have registered courses with lecturers that do not input students' grades after the end of the semester. But then, in any course that I attend, if I come across that lecturer, we have one in the English department, I will not mention her name. Anytime you do a course with her, sometimes it may take her 2 or 3 years to not enter your grades. But then, anytime I do a course with her, I'll make sure every student's grade is entered in that particular course before the end of the other semester. So, our concern is student interest, not about bragging about what we did over there and so on. So, thank you very much.
Okay, so that is it. The same for you, Mr. Njai. You mentioned a literary crop that you are actually Edu?
Question you gave me, it has to go.
Okay, so we move on. Here we are asking you, one of the policies you made mention of is meet the people and also to create dialogue and consultation. And also if you have any rebuttal to do, you can also do that.
Yes. Thank you for that question again. Mr. Khan still has, the desire to insist, but I want to remind him that this year's Edusa's election the slogan is bonk and debunk, bonk and debunk. That's what is happening. And then here is a debate, it has to continue. You were asked what you should do. Committees and then ministry. Committee and ministry. And the closest person you mentioned is the office of the vice president. Mr. Khan, please, do you remember that the entire council have a role to play? And do you remember that the dean has a role to play? And do you remember the director of student affairs equally has a role to play in solving the students' problem? So, have it in your mind. And then do not mention this during the convention because I'm teaching you here. Okay? Good. Mr. Host, you asking meet the Edusa students.
Yeah.
How do you think it could be done? If I may be right. I did mention that he who feels it knows it, isn't it? Now here, there would be a constitutional procedures organized to bring together students from all years, first year, second year, third year, okay, who have been affected, okay, on areas such as missing grades, areas such as late submission of grades, areas such as scholarship clearance, okay, areas such as necessities that the students deserve and they are not accessing them. These are the people who will be informed, be prepared to dialogue with the people who are, again, I said, directly or indirectly responsible of solving those matters. Now, the ministry will have a subcommittee. The committee will discuss with the council. The council will forward the matter to the dean. Dean then will involve the director of student affairs. There, we will get the external partners. Okay? It has to begin from home. It is home where we belong. So why do we create the committee and then run to the external partners? So we have to ensure that steps necessary in the grassroots are followed. Then the MOPSes, the MOHAs, the MRT Hollands, and any other relevant partner will be put in picture. And a dialogue, face-to-face dialogue, will be organized. Problems will be identified from the horse's mouth, and solutions will be identified, and we ensure they are binding, they are sustainable, and they never repeat again. That is the solution mechanism policy I have, and I did say it last year on Convention Day. You can bear me witness. He can bear me witness. I did say this policy, and I still have it. So that's how I am coming to solve their problem.
Okay, the Literal Club.
Yes, Literal Success Club is established by myself. We bring in youths across the country. Okay, we engage them on poetry, spoken words, debate, public speaking, and then essay writing. And those are the things we have as a function. And not only that, with other literary or academic seminars or programs. We train them. We don't only train them, we even provide them awards. As I did mention, we organized one of our awards at the NCAC conference hall, and it was covered by GRTS among other awards. And I did mention that students from the university participated to substantiate what I've said. And then not only that, this club was registered. It was registered at the Attorney General Chambers, Minister of Justice. It is officially registered, and I wish I am here with the certificate with my file. You see the registration launchings. Okay, the secretary of my club is Basir, also a renowned Gambian writer, aka Legal Hosuna. Okay, and not only him, we have a lot of members. If you can permit me, I can remove my phone and show you some evidence.
Muni, let's just stick to
yes.
this.
I can do that right now. I have some videos of my programs. I have my logo and everything. And what we are doing is the same thing that the ministry requires. What my club is doing, and we have been doing this online, offline, online, offline.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Kam. So we move on still. Do not forget, you are watching Edusa Candidates Policy Debate 2023. As you are all aware, the Edusans will go on polls to elect different candidates for the different portfolios in the University of the Gambia, especially in the School of Education. These are the aspirants for the education and research, and this is why it is getting hot, and you're hearing words which are very important. So, Mr. Khan, something which is very important. It is said you have to ask yourself what you have done for the country before asking what the country has done for you. I want to ask, so far, what have you done for the students of education that they should actually look at or take as reference to vote you in as their minister?
Okay, thank you very much. That wonderful question. Once again, I will remind him, he made mention of when I was talking about committees and then faculty office and other stuff. I just mentioned the committee and then the office of the vice president. I made mention of the problems will be channeled to the faculty office. In fact, before even you go to the dean, you have to go to the faculty office. So these are issues. And then that of MOPSI and then MRC Holland, there is no need because we have, those are directly sponsored, they are directly sponsoring education students. So if your committee is established at the ministry level, there is no need sometimes. In fact, if you can solve the problem, there is no need to go to the other channels, to the director of students affairs and other stuff. We have committees that can solve. Those committees, if they are established properly, they can solve students' problems regarding clearance and grade clearance issues. In most cases, for the grades, I made it very clear. Officer from the Education and Research Ministry, Office of the Vice President, the faculty office. If that is not possible, then Office of the Vice President at the Student Union. So from there, then you move to the Director of Student Affairs and other stuff. So that is what I have made mention. Maybe he didn't hear me clearly. So now, when it comes to what I have done for students, that question, I said, it has already answered itself. As I said earlier, since my first year at the University of the Gambia, I have been serving students. When I came in my first year, second semester, I was a volunteer at the Election Commission, Edusa Electoral Commission. I served there for 1 year as the Assistant Secretary General of the Commission. And then the subsequent year, I served as the chairperson. I was nominated at Congress and then served as the chairperson of the Edusa Electoral Commission. So when it comes to other issues, even currently, this semester, and then in even the previous semesters, most of the students that I do courses with, education students, when it comes to class size issues, sometimes students will not be able to register. But I will take up the responsibility, even if I am not the class representative, go to the faculty office to make sure that that class size is being increased so that students will be accommodated. I was doing that even before aspiring, thinking of aspiring the position of an education and research minister. So I have been serving students even before having the interest to serve as education and research minister.
Okay, so thank you very much. Mr. Alassane Jai, you understand, you alluded before that you are serving in the Committee of Education and Research. Tell me, or tell the students who are listening currently or viewing, what have you done that should warrant them to give you their votes?
Thank you so very much. And I still have to debunk again This is how it happens. It's bunk. It's bunk and debunk. That is the, what's the name again? The slogan. Okay? This year. Khan should cover his face. Trust me, Khan should not face the camera and talk to the Edusans, especially when he mentioned the serving the EC. Khan has raised a red flag. Everybody knew that. And Khan integrity and neutrality in the last election is questionable. Everybody knows that. So Khan, please, can you cover your face for just few seconds so that people will understand that you don't need to be here to talk to them about you serving the EC. What you did when the drums were beating and they were in their high pitch, people were dancing, your legs were shaking and you couldn't control but to make taps, not only taps, but you have to jump and gain and then come into the crowd to dance. A referee can never play the second half for the other side. Khan said he took a leave of absence. That doesn't cover him. We all understand that. The Constitution has stated under Section 49, subsection 3B has stated that's the electoral procedures and requirement. Says that when you are found being guilty of grave misconduct or negligence, you cannot contest. Okay? No one shall contest when you are found guilty of grave misconduct or negligence. The LB, the legislative body, have sat over the issues. The advisory board have sat over the issues. And who are responsible of the law? Is it not the LB? After their findings, they discover that what he has used to cover him doesn't cover him. That section he used to say he's sick for leave of absence does not cover him. It's certain. Can't do that. He has betrayed the Edusans. And I did mention, man is the highest and most civilized animal. But when he fails to uphold the law and promote the principles of democracy and then fundamental human rights, he has accepted to reduce himself to the lowest beings of creation. That's certain. Because it's man who makes the law, who runs the law. So if he's not respecting the law, then definitely it's another thing in the society. He has broke the law. Everybody knew that. Every Edusans know that. No matter how he comes to debunk this point, every Edusans know that. So if he has served, then he has compromised with his integrity before the time. Khan has done that. This is certain. Okay. So coming back to my question. I have served Edusans and I have served them valiantly. Despite having struggled with injuries for years, I participated in the tournament here, they organized. I did the little I could do. That was perfect. But Cham, I always tell him well to people. After the elections, losing by 4 votes margin, he knew he has competed with someone who is powerful, who has the knowledge. He knew, and every Edusans knew what he did. He came and called me to his council, to his committee. And not many people know that I work with the education committee, but Edusans now, you should know. And right now, political affiliation aside, if Cham stand here, he will tell Edusans, I'm saying political affiliation aside, he stand before Edusans, he will tell them vote for Malcolm. Yes, certainly, because in the ministry, the Edusa week, among other things, the Edusa week, asked Cham my role, of which I don't want to mention here because I have high respect for Cham. Ask him and ask him how I facilitated to bring in people to participate. Ask him how I am active in attending the meetings and responding to messages and writing messages. I served as the committee secretary. Ask Cham. And some of you who even follows Cham's status, you may one time see he posted me. He posted me and recommending my service. I appreciate Cham for that. I appreciate him and I serve the ministry wholeheartedly. So my impact on the Edusa weeks in the coordination of participants and creation of the topics for the debate and the public speaking and etc. I don't want to dwell much into that because it was a committee work. Okay, but if you ask him, not in the face of the camera, he will tell you Malcolm has done a lot in that ministry. So I am proud of what I have done.
Okay, so that is also clear. Both have already buttressed on the efforts they have already taken to make sure the students get the best of them. So we move to a very interesting one also. Mr. Khan, tell me and tell the students who are listening and watching, what do you have that is exceptional that Mr. Ndia does not have, that the students should actually vote for you?
Thank you very much once again. First of all, before I move, I have a point to clarify. And then to clear the misleading information that Alassane and his colleagues are spreading. I made mention here clearly that I sat in the EC. If I was not confident, if I was not willing, I would not even come here and then tell the people I have served the EC. Because it is not something that I have to hide. Serving the EC and then coming to contest are completely two different things. And there is nothing wrong in the University of the Gambia. Serving under the EC, that is an organ in Edusa, under the Edusa Constitution, and then coming to serve in the Executive Council are completely different things. We have even at the student union level, students serving as at the student union EC at the same time when they are done, they serve in the executive level. So in my case, it is like I took a leave of absence before the end of the term, 1 month before the end of the term, because already applications have been opened for people to apply for their interested, the position that they are interested in. So, because I didn't want to contradict the principles under the electoral laws, I had to disassociate myself from the commission, seek a leave of absence, notify them that I have an interest. I have interest in serving the Executive Council. So that's why I took that leave of absence to serve the Executive Council, to apply for a position and then serve in the Executive Council. So when I took that leave of absence, I disassociated myself from the EC. We had a WhatsApp page, an executive WhatsApp page. I exited the page. We had an email. I logged out from the email and left the work to those people who remain there, the vice chair and then the remaining commissioners. So when it comes to the constitution, there is no clause that says if you take a leave of absence, it is violation of the constitution. So that point has to be clear. There is no clause in the constitution which says that. And then it is never mentioned anywhere that taking a leave of absence is a gross misconduct. And then all this thing was just speculated. In fact, when Alassane and his people saw my intent, because if it comes to the constitution, when they wrote as a team. Where is it recognized that in our constitution that we have a team recognized under the constitution? So we have these teams just for the students to identify us. But if it goes to our constitution, there is no team to write against any bona fide Edusan. So if that is the case, how could they, the people who are shouting up and down, we are here to defend the constitution, how could they not even know that? So let us not, mislead the people. Let us tell them the fact. And then that point has nothing to do with my qualities of serving Edusans. Because the Edusans knows I have them in heart. I have interest in serving the Edusans. I have the will. I have the know-how to serve Edusans. Because I have been doing it from day one. So coming to your question, one of the things that I have, that I can tell you Malcolm don't have is being humble. That is one of the things that I have. And every Edusan knows that. I am not too proud. That's why I was.
Okay. So that is it. Tell me and tell the listeners.
Thank you so very much. I don't know what being humble can do with the education and research ministry. I used to tell people, everybody is humble. What being humble can do with the research and education ministry, Mr. Khan? Being humble. Okay. Is debunk, bunk and debunk. Okay. Is bunk and debunk. People take leave of absence. But it has procedures. Nobody said it does not happen. But the clauses, the section you use doesn't cover you. That is clear. That people should know. 1. 2. The time you did it also doesn't go with the Constitution. 3. 4. The way you do it also is not in line with the Constitution. You cannot deny these facts, and everybody cannot deny this fact. We have procedures. You cannot just write to your vice. What can your vice authenticate in your leave of absence? And even when the letter was out, it was not dated. We Edusans are aware. No matter how you fit it, Edusans know what has happened. So Edusans are aware what happened. These are the things. So you can, no matter how you talk, this you cannot deny it. You could have waited until after the Congress. Then Congress night, you declare your intent. You are clean. But why? That's why I said when the drums were in their pit, the beatings were hard. You tap your feet. You couldn't sustain, but you have to jump and get into the crowd to dance. And that has compromised your personal integrity. You have to accept that hands down. Simple. Now what I have that Khan don't have is my dexterity. I can write. I have been writing articles, sophisticated articles, weekly, if not two, once. Everybody's aware. I have written books. I have published one, and many to go. I have organized series of events pertinent to the functions of the ministry. These are the qualities I have that Khan don't have. Khan can't even to write his name on the public. He is afraid of it. He's just to write his Ahmadu Khan and then send it in public. He don't have the confidence. Perhaps he cannot even spell his name. It could be agreeable. So why do you want to venture into something that requires the pen? Rigorous use of the pen. That's research and then education. So let us just put it plain for everyone to see. Can being humble does not give you food in your stomach. You must go and work. So this is the same way that being humble have nothing to do with the ministry that requires your intellectual know-how. Am I clear? Please, Edusans, if being humble, there are so many people who are super humble than Khan. Then it's better we start scrutinizing people who are humble to come and man our ministry. If that is what he has, that you should vote for him. Definitely. Edusans, I have the pen, I have the experience, I have the intellectual and technical know-how that Mr. Khan don't have. So I deserve your votes.
Bunk and debunk. So that was Malcolm. Let's hear from you, Mr. Khan.
Okay, thank you very much. Still, on the point regarding the issue of the leave of absence. If Malcolm says that letter was not dated, that is misleading. Because that letter was 100% dated. The LC has it. Because when the issue came out, they requested, let me send them the evidence. And they have the evidence. The LC has the evidence. The time I wrote the letter, the time I sent the letter, and then the time I received the letter. He can confirm from his political godfather, Buso, and the others, the clerk of the LC. They know that very well. They have it. And then they cannot deny it. So, regarding that issue, now, when it comes to being humble, because if you are not a humble individual, you cannot solve strange problems. Like I just said, he is here being proud, said Khan may not even be able to write his name in public. That is being proud. Because you believe you are the only one who can do things. Malcolm, as he stated earlier, he said he served in the committee. Apart from that student week, what has he done for the students? Serving as a committee member in the Education and Research Ministry. On all his policies that he's talking about here, why has he not synchronized those points with CHAM to make sure that all of those things that he is talking about have been achieved, because he was part of that committee? The only thing that he mentioned here is on the Edusa week, he was able to call people to come in.
Okay. Respond.
The bunk and debunk continues. Now, if the legislative body has got you right, then why do they come to discover, find out, and conclude that you cannot run? You use them as your reference. Then why do they in turn say you have violated the Constitution? Who? Was it from me? Was it from the Edusans? But it's the people you use as reference, the same people who sat over issue and said you violated the Constitution.
Thank you very much.
So I don't understand.
Okay, let me clarify.
No, you have to wait. Let me learn.
No problem. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go on.
I served as a tutor. I told you. So why do you say only? I conducted tutorials. I participated in the tournament. I told you. Huh? The ministry, okay, my role or the role of the education ministry was very much pertinent in the effective execution of the student week. And among all the programs we succeeded when CHAM came to power, I have participated in all. I told you I cannot, as a member of the group, I cannot say everything entirely. But I will show you that in the main program, Malcolm was not behind. Some of them, if they can hear me, they would not. I give them personal calls to convince them to come and participate. And all those events, the debate and the poetry and whatsoever, I was one of the main driving factors. So please stop referencing the LB, okay, when it is this LB itself and the advisory board that has declared that you cannot run. So please don't use them here. You cannot use them.
In fact, it's making me laugh. Because that LB that you are talking about, in fact, we don't have LB, we have LC, Legislative Council. To clarify, to correct you.
The legislative body too.
Okay, so the legislative body is at the UTGSU. That is where we have legislative body. In every side we have legislative council. So okay, now in that point, when they wrote that I cannot run, they realized that the one who wrote. In fact, I will not even say when they wrote. Sometimes there are people who are there. I have respect for them. I don't want to go far. That's why this issue sometimes I don't want to talk about it. When they wrote, when they wrote that the legislative council has declared that cannot run, it was that the same during the day of the convention day that they took that statement back and wrote another statement, released another press release to indicate that they have no power to deny me from running. If you are not aware, please go and please, if you are not aware, go and read, or you go and confirm from the clerk. Go and confirm from the clerk if you are not aware. So regarding your participation, you talk about playing for the team. Committee, being in the Education and Research Ministry and playing for the football team are completely different. We are talking about the Education and Research Ministry. What have you done? You are just, talking about the student week. Was that the only activity that the Education and Research Ministry conducted? They conducted a lot of activities which nobody sees or have realized your participation in those activities. As somebody who is here talking about I have the know-how, I have the dexterity and so on, why didn't you use that dexterity in the committee when you were there?
Okay. So I listen and learn. We move on.
Yes. If I may recall some of the statements you made, they are the same people who wrote to nullify what they have said. That was wrong and was misleading when you said that. They stated that they don't have the constitutional mandate to say that you will not contest. And when we said, they said you can run, it was misleading too. Because if the LC, as you said, most appropriate, and that of the advisory board have sat over the issues and discovered that you have violated the constitution, okay, then now the powers lie in the EC to disqualify you. Then you are telling us that the EC has not also done the right thing to approve your candidature. They are wrong in approving you. That is certainly certain. You know that. Then you have confirmed.
As we alluded before, we will want to continue with this particular debate. That is bunk and then debunk, like attacking each other and then trying to justify a point that the electorate should actually hear and then choose one of them as their favorite. Now, we want to conclude by telling Edusans our last final message in this particular program. As I said before, the convention night is coming on the 14th, so please make it a day and then listen to lots of policies that these candidates have in store and they want to entice you with and also enrich you in terms of service. So now, Mr. Khan, you may do your debunking, and then from there we actually have your conclusion, your concluded remark before we move on to Malcolm's and then close the program for today.
Welcome back, and then thank you once again, Mr. Sane. Just to set the records straight, the EC, because the last point that Alassane mentioned was about the EC being unfair or violated the Constitution. Just to set the record straight, the EC, current EC, knows what they are doing. They knows what the Constitution says. To disqualify a person, that person must have committed a gross misconduct. And then there are other, qualifications that you need. If you don't meet them, then you will be disqualified. So I believe Alassane and his people don't understand the word gross misconduct. And then there is nothing that is wrong that in seeking leave of absence in the Edusa Constitution. There is no point in the Edusa Constitution which says if you seek leave of absence as any committee or any organ of Edusa, because we have several organs of Edusa. We have the Legislative Council, we have the LB, and then we have the Electoral Commission and the Executive Council itself. So there is no part in those sections that says that if you seek a leave of absence, then you have committed a gross misconduct. And then to clarify other things, I think it's the Constitution that needs to be looked at. There are lapses in the Constitution that needs to be looked at, because if you look at the Legislative Council, it is clearly stated in that part that a legislative member may resign, if you have other interests and other stuff. But when it comes to the Electoral Commission, there is no part. When it goes to the LB, no part. If even the deputies serving in the Executive Council, they are not even given a chance to seek a leave of absence, because if the clause he is referring to, where I reference, and in fact I did not even reference, because the letter that I wrote, I did not even reference that clause that I seek a leave of absence based on this clause. That clause only gives rights to Executive Council who wants to contest in SU. So how about if anybody in other organs of Edusa wants to contest in SU, what are they going to do? It's not in particular. The Constitution is silent about it. So if the Constitution is silent about that, if I seek a leave of absence, it is not wrong. So the EC knows that is not wrong. So that's why they do not disqualify, because they know what they are doing, and then they acted correctly. So on that note, I thank you all for the kind attention, and then come on convention day, listen to more of the policies, and then make your judgments. Don't be fooled by big words. Don't be fooled by saying I have the dexterity. Everybody has the dexterity. And then the dexterity that could not even be utilized in the committee that he or she was serving. So Edusans are watching. they know what is happening, and then they know what we can do for them. So thank you all.
Okay, thank you very much. So now we listen to Malcolm. Your conclusion, and also if you have any point to actually grab.
Yes, Mr. Khan made mention that the LC and the advisory board acted based on political affiliation. Mr. Khan, you were wrong. The speaker of the LC, everybody knows, made it very, very clear on the last release they made that he was 100%. He made it. You go and read the release. He was 100% Renaissance. He said he campaigned for Renaissance in the last election. He said it. And he said Renaissance asked him to contest, but he declined. He said it. If I am wrong, Edusans, read the last release. That was his message. It was a very lengthy message. So if the Speaker of the House has told every Edusan that he was Renaissance, he was applicant of Renaissance, he campaigned for Renaissance, and that even Renaissance asked him to come and contest for them, then is that man against someone contesting for Renaissance to rule against you? Please, let us understand. And not only him, there were other members. So don't associate the ruling of the LC and the advisory board to politics or political affiliation. Mr. Khan, let us observe that point very clearly. Edusans are listening. You made reference of the LC, that you did the right thing. You said that. And I made you understand that when the LC sat over the issue, they ruled that you did the wrong thing. I think that's what I mentioned. It's clear. So if that is the case, that you reference them, but they don't rule against you, and you come to contest, then if that is the case, I mean, then your candidature should not be valid. It's the point I'm speaking at. So don't take it otherwise or irrationally. But this point is straight. So let us be bold enough to come and tell people what has happened, what has transpired, and accept that you were too quick to throw in your easy gown and get into the political arena. This is the fact. Edusans know that. Wait until your term elapses. As long as there is no provision in the constitution that said you have to seek leave of absence. Now, Sefio Inticham was one of you last year, or one of them. But what he did after Congress, then people started to know that he wanted to contest. But you couldn't wait for that. Then what was your consent telling you? You were already affiliated. And I said this has raised a red flag in your political neutrality in the last election. You have to accept that.
Time has not.
So this is the
conclusion.
Edusans and everybody viewing there, please do understand that he made mention of being proud or having pride. That is not the case here. You are in a political debate and you are asked questions. You speak according to the questions you have. And you speak to debunk what your opponent has. So being proud here does not have to do with anything that I have said here. You understand that. If you don't say I am on what you do, nobody will know or say you are. So please understand the situation, the nature, and the dictates of us meeting here this evening. I thank you very much. I thank the Fine TV. They have been doing a great job. And then I will remind you, Edusans, please make informed choices. Sitting at home does not give you food. Like being humble cannot execute the functions of the Education and Research Ministry. You need to be equipped with the skills, the experience, and the technical know-how.
Okay.
Thank you so very much, viewers. And then until I come your way again, this is Alassane Jai, alias Malcolm X Jr., Education and Research aspirant on the Student Service Council at the University of the Gambia, School of Education. Thank you, and see you convention night or convention day.
Okay, thank you very much. If we allow both candidates to actually debunk each other, but then, and in order not to do so, we have to draw the curtains down. And also say a big thank you to Fine TV for always giving us this platform. And also I thank these two gentlemen for always honoring our call and also coming up to talk to us their policies, their intellectual know-how in this particular field. This is very important. There has been a fruitful session, and then we enjoyed it a lot. I hope and I believe the listeners also enjoy it a lot. So the next edition will feature the cream kunkanku, the biggest, and then the reasons, or let's say those are the drivers or the captains of the sea. So those are the presidents. The presidents will be here on Saturday by the grace of God, and then we will hear from them. Until then, I'm saying a big thank you to Edusans and all the viewers of Fine TV. Please keep watching Fine TV and keep following Fine TV because it is the finest in the Gambia. Thank you all.